Hey, Courtney.
Hey, Matthew.
Nice to finally meet you. Yes.
Good to meet you too.
Corinne, nice to meet you, Corinne. This is awesome. Well, I'm so happy to be here with y'all. This is so fun. What a beautiful spot.
Oh, thanks.
And Evergreen, like seriously, this place is gorgeous. I love it up here.
Somebody's got to live here, so we figure it might as well be us. So.
Yeah, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Well, this is so fun. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know that you're both really busy. I know you got a really amazing program here that are helping, helping people be more water competent, and I'm excited to see it. So I'd love for you to give me a little tour.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, thank you. This is great.
I know. So this is our pool.
Okay.
It's actually in ground a little bit. It's about 2.5 feet in ground. So it's partial in ground, above ground pool. We've got 4 feet.
Okay. That's pretty deep.
It is. And we keep it really warm. So
is it warm? What's the difference in the pool? Do you know?
So it's like 90 degrees.
That's
so
really good.
That's what we try to keep it at.
The students like myself who were always freezing and didn't want to get in the pool.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. And I do want to get in the pool in a little bit. Maybe we can do some lessons, which would be really fun.
Yeah, we're looking forward. We have some we have some ideas.
Oh, great. Wow. This is going to be awesome.
So yeah, we have our flow head here too, and our flow head creates a current. And that's one way to do it. That's probably one of the more expensive ways, but we have been in hotel pools, rec centers. We've done trainings at different places where you can use fins with one person kicking and create actually the flow and eddy. Cool. We've had other kids in class come in, and so we have time on task is a big thing, making sure each child in a class is getting the most activity or the most attention. So
tell me a little bit about what motivated you to start this whole thing.
Well, I actually had an opportunity to kind of live my dream after I had finished homeschooling my children. So I had a smaller place, smaller condo, smaller pool, and I just wanted to do technical swim coaching with the video camera and everything else. But I was right next to a Montessori school. So the moms came over and they're like, oh my gosh, you're putting in a pool. When are you going to do swim lessons? And I was like, I'm not. And they're like, you are. And I'm like, I'm not. So we ended up with 10 kids, 20 kids. And I was actually looking at these kiddos and their parents, and I took it so seriously, Matthew. Like really at that moment I was like, wow, like I get to introduce to these little guys water for a lifetime. And that's where that clicked in. So I remembered kids love science and they're not comfortable going on their backs, but what if we taught them that water will hold you up if you do nothing in my pool, in the lake, in the river, in the ocean? What if we did that? That's simple buoyancy. Now you might not look like a starfish, but starfish don't float, right? So you might look like a jellyfish, which is what a lot of kids will do, or a lot of very dense adults will do. Sense. But, kind of moving them into that. And I just started to play around with one concept or another. In the background, I had the water moving. Because I thought I'm responsible for teaching them that water actually moves eventually, and you're going to use these skills in that. So one built upon another, and I just took all these dots from the aquatic therapy and body work I did to the technical swim coaching, my own experiences, and I just pulled them all together and created what we're doing here today.
So cool.
Super passionate about it. I'd say we're more of a mission than a business.
I would agree with that.
For sure.
Yes.
And you'll see that we run it that way because really to us, and I tell my instructors this when I leave, I try to do it every day. I wish I remembered every day. I'm like, hey guys, you saved a life today.
That's so cool.
You saved a life today.
No doubt. Yeah. No, it truly is a mission. I think you're onto something with that. I know the concept is more of like that open water kind of structure, which is why the current piece is so important. Right. Talk to me about the difference between just a pool, like training in a pool, and what you really do here that makes Swim4Life so different and unique.
Yeah, so basically the idea is, the theory is that we teach kids how to swim with 4 walls. And it's nice and clear, it's 90 degrees, it's comfortable, and you know what to expect. You're going in for lessons, somebody's going to be there, and we assume that those skills are going to transfer to open water. But subconsciously, we're creating a habit or a neural pathway that says this is how water acts everywhere. So when I saw that 74% of drownings over the age of 5 happened in open water, I was like, well, wait a minute. Maybe we have a discrepancy here, because 66% of those, according to the World Congress on Drowning, said that they were good swimmers.
Wow. So these are students that
So-
had lessons that parents or guardians or even themselves considered themselves competent in the water.
Exactly. Just like myself. Like when I was a competitive swimmer, I'd probably just gotten a medal in breaststroke butterfly because I tandem them every summer. And I went whitewater rafting with the Girl Scouts. They put me in the front and I was all on. I was all ready to go. I'm still that way today. Put me in the front, bring on the river, and I'm the one that fell out.
Oh, man.
But nothing in my brain triggered, no habit. I'd spent so much of my time in water growing up. And at the age of 12, nothing triggered for me to use those skills to help myself. I just went dead and they had to rescue me. So when I started my own program, I thought, I don't want that for other kids. If parents are coming to me and they're saying, I want you to introduce water for a lifetime to my child, which they don't even know they're asking. I want to be able to say, I'm preparing them for not just 4 and under, the leading cause of accidental death in a pool, but those statistics over.
Yeah.
So.
And open water, rivers, lakes, oceans,
riptides.
Riptides, yeah.
Those are a big one for us. We're very passionate about educating our parents on how to rescue from a riptide. Most people don't know that. That's a little tip to blow people away.
Yeah.
So I won't get into my whole spiel on that right now, but there is a certain way to rescue. Riptides are multiple killers. So, so there's riptides, there's rivers, lakes, oceans, ice over the top of water, getting kids used to how to handle that, especially here.
Here in Colorado, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Not as much the ocean at the beach in California, but we also have mountains and ice and everything else. And a lot of our families maybe that are coming from the beach and going to that different environment, like you just said, all of a sudden they find themselves in a situation that they just weren't prepared for and panic.
Yeah.
And that's the worst.
And people think that. They're like, oh, I could see you doing that in Colorado because you have lakes and rivers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, actually our families travel. So we get them prepared for riptides, oceans. One of our best examples is Denver, who wouldn't go off the wall. And his dad wanted him to go whitewater rafting in a canyon trip a year later. So we went with this 8-year-old who wouldn't even leave the wall. And we were preparing him for a river application, but part of our program is how do you handle a wave when it comes at you unexpectedly? You don't go over it. So our kids are it's a habit that we form in this pool. And then his mom had taken him to Hawaii with her family. And she's like, oh my gosh, we were out in the waves and, this wave came at us unexpectedly. And I got totally wiped out. And I look out and there's my 8-year-old son standing there. And he's like, Mom, go under the wave, remember? So
that's good.
So that was here in Evergreen that we taught him that, but it transferred out to the ocean. So.
That's really incredible. And I really appreciate some of the statistics you just shared as well. I think that really brings home something for me in our initial conversations where that most of the drownings that are taking place aren't in swimming pools. They're out in the open water environment, which to me was very shocking. I just assumed that it was pool related, which obviously is its own danger, and sure, that's applicable, but I was very interested to learn that. How then are your swim lessons tailored so that do students have to come and have a base foundation, or they know how to do the breaststroke or do the doggy paddle or whatever that is? Do they have to come to you with some set of skills already in order to join your program, or are they blank slate, they can come in and you just start from the ground up? How does that work?
They come in with nothing. So we have so actually when we have students come in, we have infants all the way up.
Okay.
And we can work with any skill level. We also have kids that have been on swim team and they come in, and as soon as we turn the current on, they're like, I can't do my skills with that current on. So they're again kind of prove that theory that they weren't used to it. But yeah, we can come in with absolutely no skills. The difference in our program is that we teach swim skills. All we do, Matthew, is we layer it with an open water application.
That's awesome.
It's really not that oh my gosh.
It's not radically different.
Right.
But I can imagine the conversation around what it is and how it is different and critically important is probably radically different from some of the traditional marketing that I see from swim schools. So how does the narrative around marketing need to change as far as swim lessons in general are concerned? Do you have a thought about that?
Yeah, I mean, we're so used to swim lessons being like 4 strokes to swim team kind of foundational. And I think that because of that, and again, this is just a hypothesis, me being half a century old and being in the field for a while in different levels, is really that we see it, when we see it that way, we see it as a sport.
Yes.
So learning to swim is more of a sport. And by the way, it'll help
Like soccer.
save your life, right?
Yeah.
Soccer, football,
Yeah.
all that. But I believe that if we want to be seen differently, we need to approach the market differently. We need to market ourselves as what we truly are, which is the after school activity that could save your child's life. Which I can't say about my time doing, any other sports that I was involved in, soccer, basketball, any of that.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is we want to flip it. And we want to say the foundation of swim lessons is life-saving. Learning all those swim skills. We learn front crawl, we learn freestyle, but they also learn when to use it and how to apply it in a river. Or when to apply it in a riptide, or when not to apply it, when it's not a good idea to use that. So again, it's taking it and flipping it and saying the whole reason you are bringing your children to swim lessons is to prepare them for the rest of their lives in water. Any kind of water. It's 70% of the earth, so they're going to encounter it.
They are.
We're drawn to it. But also just to be able to give them those skills and have them have that confidence as well as the swimming pool.
That's really a neat way to think about it, in that there's a lot of merit, of course, football, soccer, chess or music, whatever that is that, your child may be interested in after school. And there's a lot of merits there around, lower suicide prevention rates, lower drug use, better attendance in school, better grades, all of that from those enrichment things. But this truly is a skill set. Like you just said, you're not going to avoid the water.
Right.
So you could avoid a soccer ball if you really wanted to, right? But you're not going to avoid the water. And so flipping that narrative, wow, yeah, if there's anything we can do at Peachjar, obviously, to help out with that, that's incredible, and really get behind that. We have a huge passion about bringing access to programs like these in all the different communities that we serve, so that your programs are stronger, and so that our students, parents, guardians, the community at large is stronger. And something like this you can really see the value very easily.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this pool, because you've actually done a couple of things. You told me a little bit about the depth of the pool. And that's pretty unique in that we are indoors, and I wouldn't have expected to come in here and find out there's a floor sunk into the room a little bit, or a pool sunk into the floor, right? So that's really neat. But just talk to me about the pool, because I know also you have some really unique positive messaging kind of flowing into the space.
So I went and did some research and got over $200 worth of crystals that we put into the foundation. So we've got amethyst, selenite, shungite, all kinds of stuff for peace, to promote confidence and joy for our kiddos, and to really draw out the different healing elements that water has to offer. So we have that in the foundation of the pool. We put those in before the concrete was laid to put the pool in. And then we also have, you'll see these words on the side of the pool.
Okay.
We have them facing out so that our parents can see it. This is the intentions we're infusing into our water.
I love that.
And it comes from The Hidden Messages in Water, which is a book and a study done by Masaru Emoto in Japan. And he had plastic bottles of water infused with different words and messaging, down to the detail of how you say something, like please do it versus just do it. And what he found is that when he froze that water and looked at it under a microscope, the crystals that formed looked dramatically different.
Based on the messaging that was infused into that water.
Yeah. Wow. So we took that and we applied it to our pool here to say, hey, if we're getting our kids in every single week, we have an opportunity to put out some of these words. You see joy, you see courage, you see peace, some of this stuff that we just want to, speak out for them on their behalf, to enrich their lives. So yeah, we also do have, sometimes when we don't have our scroll going, we have Healing Hurts playing, where we will be infusing the place with more protection, more healing energy. So we just got layer upon layer.
I love it. Well, that's why obviously it's so calm and tranquil in here. Like, this is just a fun place to come hang out. So I wish I lived up here. I'd just bring my computer in and just hang out here and work. Very calm place. Come before the students later, right? It's going to get loud later. What now, last question I have here is, what do you do to get the word out? How do you tell people about what you're doing here?
Yeah, I think being in this small town of Evergreen, we have people driving like an hour for our lessons.
Wow, that's commitment.
So, and that really comes from word of mouth is how we started.
Okay.
But then word of mouth only goes so far because we're in a small town. So, so the referral system broke down. So we actually picked up Peachjar,
Great.
and we got a huge response from our flyers at Peachjar.
That makes us feel very good back at
you.
Peachjar. Absolutely.
Thank you
That's
so
what
much.
it's all about.
So so we got Peachjar, and we are very active in our community. So we are known as the water safety girls in Evergreen. We go into schools, we go into, I mean, shoot, we talk about people down at Cactus Jack's downtown, which is a, place to eat right on the river where their kids are, leaning over and stuff like that. I mean, we're just kind of looking at getting signs along the river here, safety signs.
Neat.
So
yes.
I think it's really approaching the community as we really are here to help you. We tell our clients when they've met their needs and their goals are met and they leave our program, we are always here as your resource. We will talk to your mother's group. We will talk to, I don't care if it's 5 moms, I will come and talk to them about water safety in our community.
It's a mission.
So, yeah, it is.
It's a mission. Well, this has been really amazing. It sounds like you've got some tricks planned here. So let's take a look around, kind of show me some of the things you were just talking about, and let's jump in and let's do a lesson. Let's see where this goes. I was excited and apprehensive for what was to come next. Climbing into the pool with Courtney and Corinne. They spent about an hour with me, starting with a quick demonstration on how, just using the air in our bodies, we will naturally be buoyant. Courtney drove this point home just as she does with the students by dropping a rock and a rubber duck into the pool, then asking, why does the duck float? Of course, the correct answer is, well, the air in the duck. Then, based on the lesson that we can easily float on our backs using the buoyancy of the air in our lungs, Courtney eased me on my back, supporting my head.
All right, great. And I want you to look at my eyes.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey there.
How's it going?
This is great.
Okay, keep looking at my eyes. That's going to put your chin in the perfect position
Okay.
it needs to be in. Great. Awesome.
That's cool.
Okay, so now I'm going to move my hand from your back. What I'm paying attention to on your back right now, Matthew, we do this with every kid, is we get a gauge for the muscles on either side of their spine. That's a subconscious way to see how comfortable people are in the water. So when a kid's, you're okay. You're about average. We could loosen you up a little more, which we will do in just a second.
Okay.
So what we do when a child first comes is we get a gauge, and then when that loosens, then we're so excited because it shows us that they trust the water.
Cool.
Once that happens and those muscles release, all the swim skills come flooding in.
Sweet.
Because they trust the water. So now I'm going to try to loosen you up. You okay?
Yep.
All right. So get you a
Very
little
cool.
looser.
That's so fun.
Oh, we do this with kids. So.
Oh, that's cool.
So that helps a little bit.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
We have a shallower pool, so it's harder for you to experience. But just this part of your body was above water.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's a jellyfish flow.
Okay.
What we really want to get across to kids is starfish don't float. It is not a skill with a form.
Okay.
We don't believe floating should be a skill with a form. So meaning starfish float, there's a form to it, right? And that takes effort, it takes energy. It puts kids closer to a sympathetic nervous system reaction.
Okay.
We're always trying to keep kids parasympathetic with our breathing, with our floating, with everything.
Cool.
So that's why if they're just floating like this, their airways up, that's all we need for rescue to come.
That's awesome.
So we teach a little differently.
This is such a cool way to teach floating on your back. Instead of just putting somebody on their back and telling them to float, the whole lesson that went into this is really awesome. I wish I had known this when I was trying to teach my kids and when they were in swim lessons because they were terrified of it at first.
Yeah, going on your back is really intimidating, but once you empower them with that knowledge, they're like, oh yeah, sure.
The basics of floating out of the way, Courtney then talked me through the importance of breathing correctly with a simple breathing exercise. And it really comes down to parasympathetic versus sympathetic. And the goal is to keep your parasympathetic reaction. And the exercises were meant to help my body relax during times of stress, to create a parasympathetic response to going underwater. I learned that I had actually always been breathing wrong when swimming in the ocean or underwater in pools or anywhere else in general. Once we went through some of the breathing exercises, Courtney then explained why they were so important, and we started swimming.
Again, when do you breathe like this?
Yeah.
Smack your kneecap,
Yeah,
when you get
something
scared,
happens,
when you're scared, yeah. When do you hold your breath? Right?
Yeah.
If you hold your breath long enough, that sympathetic nervous system's going to trigger. So what we want to do is keep the vagal tone nice and high,
Okay.
parasympathetic, engaged, and we're going to teach you how we teach our kids how to breathe, which is called water breaths.
Okay, I'm stoked.
All right, so it's going to be a nice deep breath. I want you to do a belly breath. Have you done yoga?
And
You do
music
martial
and,
arts.
Yeah, and all of that. So yeah, belly breath, good. Yeah.
Okay, take a nice deep breath in, and exhale to 5. Deep breath in, and out to 5. Last one, deep breath in, and out to 5.
Just feels.
And you can just feel your body right there. That's the sweet spot. Okay. Now I want you to do it in the water. Deep breath in. Same exhale, but in the water. Inhale. And exhale. 2, 4, 5. Perfect. All right. And now you can slide down and just put your whole head under.
Okay.
Deep breath in, only to 5. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job.
Cool.
Does that feel different?
Yeah, it's great.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Okay.
way different than just and then you go.
Exactly.
Then the swimming started, and we started off slowly, just working on breathing the correct way. Easy inhale, head and face down in the water, push off the wall, exhale slowly, come up and repeat the process.
Just like that.
Okay. All right.
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, now I'm going to have you go back and I'm going to have you add your feet.
Ah, okay.
Just kick real gently.
Okay.
Same breathing, same breathing. And hopefully you'll take this back home, and when you swim in the ocean, you'll think about your breathing. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Just kick gently. Perfect.
Yeah,
Do you
that's cool.
feel your nervous system?
Totally.
You still feeling chill?
Totally.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's go back and let's use your arms.
Okay.
Perfect. Great.
Yeah.
With some of the basics now covered, Courtney turned on the flow head, and it took me by surprise how strong the current was, even at just 32 out of 100.
Oh, that's a serious current. So you don't realize how serious this current is when you're standing outside the pool.
No, we have Freaky Fridays where we have the parents get in the pool and the kids are on the side of the pool because we want their parents. So we run parents through the whole, all this stuff.
Kind of what we're doing with you today.
And we do it once a month. We get the parents in because then they have the same reaction every time.
Yeah, you have
Like,
no
man, my kid is a
idea.
rock star. I was like, I know, right?
Yeah.
Now with the current running, it was time to try pushing off the wall again, swimming into the current and focusing on that breathing.
Perfect.
That's cool. Wow. Made it farther than I thought it would.
So you came up, you're going against the current,
Yeah.
and yet you're still nice and calm. You're not, okay.
Yeah.
That was good. That's exactly how I want you and all of our kids swimming.
That's amazing.
Because that panic is drowning, drowning is panic.
Yeah.
If we can keep you parasympathetic even when you're exerting yourself, also when you're on your back floating, you're breathing the same way. We call it water breaths. I don't care if you're on your back, I don't care if you're in your front, I don't care if you're underwater. You use water breaths.
That's cool.
So, awesome. That's
That
it.
was awesome. Thank you for that. That was great. Wow.
Now it was Corinne's turn to put me through the paces, and this one was tough. She talked me through the basics of swimming across a current, under a current, and in the event of a riptide to ride the current until I could swim perpendicular to it, getting into the eddy and safety. Corinne here said never to put your feet down in a river for foot entrapment. This is solid gold, and this one simple thing could potentially save your life. Corinne then demonstrated the 3 exercises we would be working on for river, swimming across the current, keeping our feet off the bottom. Then she demonstrated ocean, swimming under the current, and finally the riptide, and of course floating on your back and screaming for help as loud as you can. Following her demonstration, she put me through my paces, calling out each action in rapid succession. Once I finished one, she called out a new one and I had to do it instantly. She tried to put me under stress, and my job was to follow the instructions as quickly as I could while focusing on my breathing and staying calm. And of course, when it came to the riptide, I didn't yell loud enough the first time.
Help!
Louder, louder, louder!
Well, the current is definitely deceiving, and I guess much like it would be in real life as well. You see moving water or a river or whatever, and you think, oh, I can swim across that or walk across that or whatever that is, and this looks pretty chill on the surface when you're outside the pool, but it's very serious when you get in the pool.
It is.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Now, I thought I was done at this point, but they had one more surprise for me. In the pool, they simulate falling out of a boat or a raft into the current or water by catching you off guard, flipping you out of an inner tube, and asking you to swim to a predetermined location in the pool. To make it more interesting, they also do this with you with blackout goggles.
How'd we do?
Now, Courtney and Corinne want everyone to have access to interacting with the currents and know that not everyone has a flow head like they do here in this pool. You can simulate this as they are here by having a couple of swimmers on one end of the pool put on flippers, hold the side of the pool, and kick up a current and run through the same 3 exercises.
Ready,
Yes.
set, ocean. All right, and we'll do river. Awesome. And a riptide. Awesome.
Help!
Perfect. Awesome. I can even hear you above the splashing. So it's perfect. Awesome. Did you kind of feel that current?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You can feel it?
Yeah, totally. That's amazing. Well, thank you. This has been really incredible to actually get to do this and see the lessons, and we'll be able to show everybody this, which is really fantastic. So what a cool deal.
My daughter is Libby, and she's almost 4, and we've been coming to Swim4Life for about a year. And when we first started, she was COVID baby, never had much exposure to pools or the opportunity to have swim lessons as an infant. So she showed up as a 2-year-old that was scared of the water and scared of the separation. And Swim4Life really catered to that group of kids that had not been away from their parents. And so they allowed parents to get in the pool because they're just all about wanting the kids to feel safe first in the water. So we've gone through the whole program of having a 2-year-old on the side of the pool crying, scared of the water, to now she's self-rescuing, which is really awesome. I think the most important thing for us as parents raising children in Colorado, where we're constantly around water, camping, rafting, is that she understands that she needs to belong with the water, that if she respects the water will respect her, and just staying calm and understanding how the water works with the current, because most of the water that we swim in Colorado has a current, has a toe underneath, and so it's been really cool to see her learn how to respect the water. Yeah, so she's working on sinking and then bringing her body back up. At her age, their bodies just are developed to sink. They're just so heavy in their bottom, so they spend a lot of time just teaching the kids how to raise their bottom up and stay calm, because that's the whole thing, is not to panic and linking through the water splashing in their eyes, because if for some reason she was to go into the water without us around or in an emergency, she wouldn't have goggles on. So they really don't allow the goggles. It's all about talking through the fears and everything that a typical 3.5-year-old is going to be scared of. I would say that Swim4Life is crucial to every parent that has the means and the resources to be able to provide this for their children. This is life-saving skills for us. This isn't just making Libby like water or have fun. This is us as parents gaining the confidence that we can take our child out into open water or even just be at a pool, and that she has the confidence and respect to understand what a pool is or what a lake is, and that she understands the boundaries that we as parents and the Swim4Life team have put into her, and just the overall respect for water.